The City of Tshwane is set to elect another mayor this evening. A special council sitting has been underway for much of the day. The mayoral position in the city has been the centre of chaos in recent weeks, following the resignation of the DA's Randall Williams and both the election and disqualification of COPE's Murunwa Makwarela from the position. The vote for council speaker earlier in the week was also controversial after the IEC declared 69 ballots as spoilt, with ATM councillor Mqedi emerging victorious. But today's vote is yet to get underway. eNCA's Pule Letshwiti-Jones is in Pretoria and joins us now with the latest. Pule, can you tell us exactly why this vote hasn't happened yet?
Well, primarily because the Speaker will now get legal opinion in regards to the expulsion status of the Action SA members whose membership was terminated while they were still in council and they had already registered. Now, that's the technicality of what's happening, where the DA says the Speaker has to apply his mind and make sure that he does not commit any legal error which may see this council being dubbed as irregular and unlawfully convened as well. But they join me here for more reaction to give us more detail on their stance on this particular matter. Celia Brick, thank you very much for speaking to us from the DA. What were you saying to the Speaker? Obviously, this regarding the expulsion status, but what do you want must be the outcome from this 3-hour break he's taken?
So let me just say this about the political situation in Tshwane. We have an untenable situation where the ANC-EFF coalition, through all of the drama that we've seen in Tshwane, are now depending on 2 expelled members of another political party to get their mayoral candidate elected. As you mentioned, those 2 Action SA members were removed. Party discipline is important. You can't vote against the promise that you've made to the people. And it's clear that following the internal processes, Action SA has to do what it has to do. So what we want is clarity that those 2 councillors, plus a councillor from COPE, who apparently has 2 ID numbers, so there's serious doubt about his legal status as a councillor. We want clarity before we make an important decision such as electing an executive mayor. If 3 people vote in this election who are not eligible to vote as councillors, who are not eligible to participate in council meetings, and a mayoral candidate gets elected with 1 vote, that creates material effect on the outcome of the election. All of that can be set aside. All of the decisions made by such a mayor will be set aside. It's like building your house on sand. And that is not to the benefit of the people of Tshwane. We need certainty. We need accountable, stable government that can attend to service delivery and the findings of the Auditor General. We don't want another Murunwa Makwarela moment where the capital city will be embarrassed and will have to come back here again to elect another executive mayor. So our request to the Speaker is to postpone this meeting until Wednesday, when there will be certainty on all fronts about the membership of the party. We don't have to, about the parties, we don't have to scratch around for that. That will be in the best interest. Let's make decisions based on solid facts and solid law.
Now, when the Speaker comes back and says that he cannot fulfill your proposal and that council should continue, what will be the way forward from you guys?
So the motion or the proposal by the DA and the multi-party coalition is still on the table. It hasn't in fact been dealt with by the Speaker. And that is, as I mentioned, postpone this meeting until Wednesday, which is the first available opportunity. Take that time to get a legal opinion and to sort out whatever uncertainties there are. But the point is, the 3 people sitting in council can't vote on that proposal. 2 Action SA members who aren't Action SA members anymore, and the COPE chap who's got 2 ID numbers. Buy some time. Let's come back here on Wednesday. If the Speaker refuses that, we'll certainly raise our objections, and we reserve the right to leave this council.
Do you think if council were to proceed with these councillors being in Action SA, it could be costly for you as well in terms of the numbers?
It's going to be costly for the City of Tshwane and the residents. So if this council meeting proceeds with councillors who aren't councillors, all of the decisions taken at such a meeting could potentially be set aside. And yes, of course, we've seen the shenanigans in council. We've seen the violence. We've seen the manipulation. Any potential decision can be made. The point is Do you really want to do that to the people of Tshwane? That is the question the ANC-EFF coalition in the city must answer.
Thank you very much for joining us, Andy. I'm also going to speak to Mandla Mahana from Action SA. Mandla, thank you very much for speaking to us. Obviously, you're one of those whose memberships as well was terminated. How do you feel? What's your reaction from that kind of move? Because that happened while you were still in council as well.
Thanks very much, and to the listeners and viewers. I'm shocked. By the way, because on Wednesday I just received a letter from the chairperson of disciplinary hearing of Action SA, Alistair Shaw, to say I've been alleged that I have voted against the party line, so I must finish them with the reasons why I shouldn't be terminated. And then yesterday I went to my lawyers. And then my lawyers, we just drafted the letter throughout, and then we had demands. One, we have demanded that they must provide the lie detector test results. Secondly, they must provide their allegations that says that I have voted against. So therefore, as I was waiting for that, because we gave them the timeline that they must give it, they must respond today at 11 o'clock. Instead of today, their response, I just got the termination letter this morning at 22:10, before the council starts.
Now, they say here the investigation does not rely upon the polygraph tests. However, both councillors failed on two separate occasions on both the question of voting against the coalition and being offered rewards. Were you offered any bribe any time? Are these allegations substantial?
You know what I can tell you now? Remember, this election is all about Schedule 3. Of the Municipality Structures Act. So tell me, how would you identify a person that you have voted against?
Did you fail a polygraph test?
I haven't seen any results.
So they didn't show you?
I haven't failed. I haven't seen that I failed or I passed. I've been told that this is how you performed. By the way, before the day when we had a caucus, before the elections of the Speaker on the 13th, Michael Bowman, the chairperson of Action SA, came and had a one-on-one caucus with the caucus members of Action SA. He just told us that this is how we should vote, and then we've complied on that. And then when we went to the polls, this is what I've done, the way they've told me to do.
Would you say the divisions within Action SA has costed the multi-party, particularly what we've been seeing right now, and when Morong Makurela was voted as mayor then?
Well, when it comes to that regard, I don't want to dwell much on that one, but there's a serious problem in Action SA in particular. I don't want to talk on behalf of the multi-party. The Action SA doesn't have a consider of democracy. That's all I can say for now, because when you go to the ground, because of I'm a former regional chairperson, we had a serious issue of the members of the Action SA where they demanded, the leadership to come to the ground, but the leadership didn't show up. But eventually, I managed to talk to them. They came and engaged, but they didn't meet what the leadership of the ground are looking for.
Would you say the leadership is ruling with an iron fist? They ruling without considering, decisions or what other members are thinking?
They don't consider the democracy. That's all I can tell you.
Thank you very much. That's Mandla Mahana from Action SA speaking to us. One of those whose memberships was, of course, terminated by the party as well. Seems as though many in Action SA in Tshwane are still quite, unhappy with how things are currently operating. But we're waiting to see what will be the way forward when the Speaker has to decide whether they continue with the council or they adjourn the council for Wednesday, when the mayor will then be nominated, then elected. That secret voting process will then convene. However, one thing I must tell you, residents are pinning their hopes on this council to finally conclude and for service delivery to be accelerated, particularly because of that important adjustment budget which still needs to happen, which speaks to service delivery. If that budget is not passed in council, then it will be trouble for the Tshwane Metro, as the provincial government may then have to intervene, and it may resort to extreme measures, which of course includes placing the city under administration.
Thank you so much, Pule Letshwiti-Jones, bringing us that story from the Tshwane Council meeting.